Hey, this is Mark from ratestate.com, and I am the guy who created the zero-based budget spreadsheet that you're downloading from RateState, or you maybe have downloaded from RateState. It was popularized by Dave Ramsey, and he's of Financial Peace University, which is pretty amazing if you want to get out of debt or manage your money better. Anyways, I'm a small business person and I wanted to create something that included both the household budget and my business budget. So I'm going to show you what I created, and it might be useful to you if you are like me and need to kind of synchronize everything. So I'm not going to go too much into how a zero-based budget works other than to say that you take income for 2 periods, in this case 2 weeks at a time, put it at the top, subtract your expenses for that 2-week period. Say for instance your rent or your mortgage comes out in the first of the month, you'd put that here, electricity, gas, depending on when those utility bills are due, in the first period column, and you would end up with your total expenses for that period and your total cash flow net. In this case, it's an unhealthy zero-based budget because this example says negative 736, which would be a problem, as you can imagine. And the period 2, same thing. You notice the total expenses there are 1658, which gives you a surplus for the second period of 1258. Now, since this is a little lopsided, there's a very good chance that if you observe this budget, this money would roll over into the next period and even out your cash flows. But in this case, it looks kind of lopsided. So you would kind of want to go back and see if you could move some payments around to even out your budget. Also, you notice there is a $521 monthly surplus. What you would want to do in a perfect world with a zero-based budget is allocate that money towards debt payoff or savings, something like that. It's supposed to be zero there because that's what a zero-based budget is. So up here you can see that I've combined the 2 periods expenses into a number, and it's 5,311.67, and I'm carrying it over to a new tab that I use quite a bit in my business. I carry it over to this line right here, which is my household expense line. At the end of every month, I go back and I put what I actually spent, but for the upcoming months, I use what I've planned. And I get my actual amount from this tab, which is the allocated spending actual tab. What I do is I go into my bank account and I try to be as accurate as possible by putting things in the right spaces and then in the right columns. But sometimes what I do, if I'm in a hurry or I get a little bit lazy, is I do one big other. Say for instance, I've allocated most of my big things, and my statement says I have $1,600 left over. I'll just lump it into a column here and call it other. But that way I get an accurate overall expense. So in the case in point, at the end of July, I may realize I spent 5,450 or 5,600, or maybe I spent 4,750 as an example. It's not actually my budget. So you take your allocated spending, and it is either your planned or your actual, depending on where you are, and then you start to work with your business budget, your planned expenses. These are all samples that you can mess around with. You can change these names, and I've put some helpful notes in some of these cells for different calculations I've done. What you get is a combined total expense of your business and your household. This number right here is a combination of your total business and your total household expenses. This is where this starts to get useful. You can look at your various income sources. Let's say you're a mortgage broker and you have various deals closing, or you're a real estate broker and you have various deals closing, or you're like me, I do internet marketing and I promote for different people, and I also do consulting and whatever. I like to kind of break things out so I can see where most of my money's coming from. Also, some of my clients don't pay me the day I make the sale. They like to hold me out for 30 days or 15 days, and so in some cases, if I make a sale in July, I might not be able to count that revenue until September, because hopefully that's when they send the check. So this is a way that you can kind of break out your income line by line, but what you get is a total, and it's right here, and it's carried down here as well. In the case of July, this sample data says we're going to have total income of $7,782.91. My total expenses in this month, which are the combination of my household and business, are $7,781. So we're netting $1.74, which isn't a whole lot, but it might buy you a pack of gum and a Reese's peanut butter cup. Or you can allocate that back. You can go back to your allocated spending plan and say, I'm going to pull that slack out of my budget and put that towards something else. So month by month, this plays out, and you can get an idea of really where you're headed. One of the most useful aspects of this is looking at what a cumulative net would be if all things hold equal. In this case, we're experiencing a monthly net, which when you add 1 month's net to a former month's cumulative net, you get a different total. So $561.67 added to a cumulative net of $1.74 is $563.41, and so on. This trend is very positive. I would be very happy for anyone I know or myself to have this positive cash flow trend. Unfortunately, in most people's cases, this isn't the what's happening in the recession, but at least you know ahead of time what you need to do. If you were seeing in these months a negative trend, you would say, I need to make a big change. I need to hit the street, hustle up some more business. I need to get some more accounting clients. I need to sell some more websites, whatever it is. It's funny to me how often people will go about their daily businesses and not really know where their income's coming from, or want to even know, because it's scary. It's kind of head in the sand. And when their spouses come to them and say, hey, where are we headed? Can we take a vacation in 6 months? When are we going to pay off this bill? They're kind of like, yeah, hopefully. Right now, I have twins on the way, and my wife is asking me how much money can I spend to outfit these kids with clothes and stuff I need. And because I do this kind of thing, I can say, hey, listen, I can give you X dollars. Is that going to work? And she can say, well, I'm going to have to cut out some stuff, but I get to keep other things. So, and I can tell you right now, I need a minivan. So that's the scariest thing and the most emasculating thing as a guy, but that's not your problem. Also, down here, I have some nice looking graphs. In the Mac, they are translucent, so you can kind of see through them. In a PC, I don't know quite what they look like, but you may be able to set those behaviors on your version of Excel. And then also, this is useful to me. I break things down on a 30-day month and tell myself how much money do I need to be making per day. And if you like to think in a kind of I don't know what to say, like you like to think in micro portions or whatever, you can look at this. And so I can see what I'm making now, 259, and what I need to make for everything, 253 for this example, and what the daily difference might be. So you have your allocated spending planned, allocated spending actual to go through and account for what you actually spent, and your business and personal. So hope this is helpful to you. If you want me to make any changes or you have some suggestions of your own, feel free to contribute. And thanks for watching this video.